The archaeologist Tom Delahaye has stated, one of the cherished goals of anthropology is to explain the emergence of civilization in early human communities. One of the intriguing problems of Peruvian archaeology is the apparent absence of antecedents for the earliest conspicuous civilizations. Here, Tom Delahaye is referring to the fact that for many years, archaeologists had no evidence for the emergence of complex societies before the rise of Corral and the Norte Chico civilization. The great city of Corral, alongside civilizations such as Mesopotamia, China, the Indus River Valley, and Mesoamerica, are the earliest known examples of civilizations that were able to rise independently rather than by diffusion. Introducing the Nanchoc Valley Tradition. Hello, my name is Luis, and welcome to the History of Peru YouTube channel. Today we will be talking about the Nanchoc Valley Tradition, one of the antecedents to complex societies in the Andes. Situated between the Nsanya and Nanchoc River lies the Nanchoc Valley, home to one of the most interesting groups of people we have thus far discussed. The valley contains a tropical montane forest alongside a thorn forest on the western Andean slopes. The tropical montane forest is complete with parrots, deers, black bears, and even boa constrictors. I want to note that when I refer to the Nanchoc Valley tradition, I'm referring to a set of sites that was discovered in northern Peru and that has been attributed to a single civilization that inhabited the area. The Nanchoc Valley tradition includes 49 sites that all sit close to alluvial fans near the Andes. The central focus of archaeologists revolves around the Nanchoc Cemetery, or the Cementerio de Nanchoc. This site was first found by Tom Delahaye and his team of archaeologists in 1978. The cemetery covers about 2 hectares in size and sits about 450 meters above sea level. The Nanchoc Cemetery is divided into 2 zones. Zone A is composed of 2 3-tiered earth mounds. Zone B, on the other hand, was an open-air workshop on the western side of the stream. We will get into what was uncovered at Nanchoc Cemetery later. First, it is important to note that human occupation in the Nanchoc Valley is divided into 2 main phases, the Las Pidcas phase and the Tierra Blanca phase. So let's get into it. The Las Pidcas phase is defined by human occupation in the valley from 6500 BCE to 4500 BCE. This first phase of human occupation in the valley is characterized by the production of high-quality stone tools, household rituals, extensive trade, and elaborate treatment of the dead. The stone tools were made mostly from basalt and andesite, and were formed by striking a flake on a larger stone, thus shaping the tool. The tool could be further shaped and sharpened in much the same way one sharpens a knife. During this time, the people of the Nanchoc Valley would use these tools to aid them in the cultivation of their crops and in the production of wooden items. A small number of plant remains were also found in the valley, including squash, peanuts, quinoa, and cactus fruits. Unfortunately, these plant remains have not produced consistent radiocarbon dating results. Despite this, Tom Delahaye has argued that based on the archaeological context in which these plant remains were found, we can roughly date them to the Las Pidcas phase. The Nanchoc Valley, during both phases of human occupation, consisted of a network of households scattered throughout the valley. These houses were situated on naturally terraced soil above the streams. This location would be advantageous for the people of the valley to provide them easy access to clean water and to hunt. On 2 plots of land, archaeologists believe that they have found evidence for small elliptical houses with garden plots. These houses measured 2.3 meters by 2 meters, and its foundations were made from adobe and stone, with the walls made of quincha cane and daub. The garden plots were seemingly made from utilizing a ditch irrigation technique. These garden plots were about 1/8 of a hectare in size. Additionally, researchers found 1 plot of land that contained a concentration of human bones. This suggests a cemetery as the bones were carefully placed inside the pit. In total, 4 human bone clusters were found, and 3 consisted of long bones that were made up of the remains of only young male adults. At other sites, many bones were fragmented, cut, or even crushed. Based on an analysis of these bones, we were actually able to determine some of the diet of the people of the valley. Most of this diet consisted of plant foods, although due to the tough plant material, most of the human remains were found with substantial tooth loss. Lastly, we should talk about the Nanchoc Valley's connection to the wider Andean region. Various exotic items were found throughout the Nanchoc Valley. This includes broken shells, quartz, crystals, stingray spines, fossils, green amulets, and bright red projectile points. The seashells were likely sourced from the coast, which is about 50 miles to the west. The projectile point is believed to have been from the Paihan people, which I actually did a video about, and I will link it right here. So, what was the purpose of these items? Well, the archaeologist Michael Harner from Columbia University has suggested that we look to the modern Jivaro people, an indigenous tribe in Peru. According to Harner, the Jivaro plant exotic stones and other items in their gardens in order to ward off evil spirits. Harner believes that this practice may have made its way down to the modern Jivaro people. The Tierra Blanca phase is defined by human occupation from 4500 BCE to about 3000 BCE. This phase of life in the Nanchoc Valley is characterized by crude stone tools and burials that seem to have not been done with care. This shift away from stone tools could have been due to the rise of horticultural skill in the area. This level of human occupation in the archaeological stratigraphy is not thick. This suggests that the site was abandoned periodically or was only used seasonally. During this time, the people of the valley also seem to have switched from circular houses to more rectangular houses. As noted earlier, this phase was characterized by the decline of high-quality stone tools. Among these stone tools found during this phase includes end scrapers, polishing stones, and grinding stones. The range of stone tools found that date to this phase is smaller than the range of those found during the Las Picas phase. Additional exotic stone tools were also found, but even their quality was not quite to the standard of the previous phase. As we noted earlier, horticulture also rose during this time. Various plant remains were also dated to this time, including squash, cotton, and wild coca. Additionally, a large quantity of seashells were also found during this time. This suggests that seafood became a more important aspect of the diet during this phase. It seems to be that the household rituals that existed during the Las Picas phase was slowly phased out for more communal activities. The people of the Nanchoc Valley lost their individuality for more communal relations. The Cementerio de Nanchoc has two main areas of focus for archaeologists, Zone A and Zone B. These two zones seem to have been used for different purposes. Although archaeologists found a third zone, Zone C, not many stone tools were recovered at this site. Thus, not much attention has been given to further excavate this area. Zone A consists of two 3-tiered earth mounds, designated the Eastern Mound and the Western Mound. These mounds cover about 5 acres of land and are roughly rectangular shaped. They are placed on a slight rise in the dry canyon's alluvium. The Eastern Mound currently serves as a cemetery for the modern town of Nanchoc. This mound has been continuously used as a cemetery for a long time. The archaeological record indicates that this cemetery could have been in use as early as 200 to about 600 CE. When the Western Mound was excavated, it was discovered that it had 2 floors, each lightly strewn with volcanic stone rocks. On the lower floor of the Western Mound, archaeologists found some charcoal that dated to around 5700 BCE. During this period of occupation, Delahaye has argued that this site was probably only a ritual area marked with aligned stones. There was likely not continuous human occupation at the beginning, thus the early carbon dating preceding permanent human settlements. On the top floor of the Western Mound, archaeologists found a piece of wood that was dated to around 3700 BCE. This floor was used intermittently and lightly over a long period of time. It is believed that occupation of the Western Mound ended around 4000 to 3000 BCE. Now let's move on to Zone B. Zone B is believed to have been an open-air workshop. This is due to the discovery of an occupational floor with stone tools and hearths throughout. The hearths contained ash, burned rocks, milling stones, but no domestic refuse. Based on initial dating from the hearse, occupation at this site is believed to have occurred around 5300 BCE to around 4800 BCE. Further research into the Cementerio de Nanchoc's Zone B suggests that this site was used for lime production. No, not that kind of limes. This kind of lime. Lime rock. So why would the people of the Nanchoc Valley need to produce lime? Well, the archaeologist Tom Delahaye has some thoughts. He has suggested that the lime could have been used as a mineral supplement with either tuber or grain meals. The lime would be chewed along with coca leaves. The lime would help the coca leaf to release a mild dose of cocaine alkaloid, which in turn numbs sensory nerves. I want to be clear that at the time of this recording, this theory has not been widely accepted. To begin, very few coca leaves have been found throughout the valley, with no coca leaves found in the Cementerio de Nanchoc. The leaves that have been found did not seem to coincide with human occupation at the site. Now, the evidence that supports this theory is the local climate, which seems to be ideal for coca production. Also, the use of lime with coca leaves has been used by locals for as long as anyone can remember. And due to the consumption of the coca leaves, it is likely that no remains would be found. So, all in all, the theory is possible. It's just not supported by the majority of archaeologists, so I would take this with a grain of salt, preferably on the rim. As recently as the late 2010s, archaeologists have conducted further research in this site. Recently, some researchers have suggested that the remains found at the site could be evidence for cannibalism. The vast majority of human remains that were found were dated to the earlier Las Picas phase. Many of these bones were actually burned, leaving a porcelain-like ring around hard surfaces. Based on his analysis of the bones that were able to be recovered, the bioarchaeologist John Verano from Tulane University has suggested that there is evidence for cannibalism. Verano has stated in his 1991 paper that the fact that highly fragmented and burned human remains are found commingled with faunal material under house floors suggests the possibility of cannibalism. To support his theory, Verano points to the fact that these bones were found separate from their daily domestic activities. As in, the context in which these bones were found were not consistent with the daily activities of the Nanchoc people. For instance, many fragmented bones were found at a site that did not contain any dwellings. In contrast, there was a near absence of bones at a mixed-use site. So far it is fair to say that there is not enough support for this theory. But further research will need to be done to further understand the burial practices of the people that lived here. Additionally, other researchers are attempting to see if there's a connection between the people of the Nanchoc Valley and the various communities that live throughout the area. We know that the people of the Nanchoc Valley likely did not source the exotic items that are found throughout the valley. Despite this, we don't really know how far their trade network seems to have extended. There is an effort by researchers to try and understand the role that the people of the Nanchoc Valley played in the development of complex societies in Peru and throughout the Andes. This is all to say the work is not done. Generally speaking, the Nanchoc Valley people are a rather recent find compared to other sites that we have discussed. We will surely gain a better understanding of the Nanchoc Valley and the people that lived at this site as further research is done and as more people learn about these discoveries. Although I guess that's why I'm here. Thank you so much for watching this video and supporting the channel. If you liked what you saw, please make sure to hit the like button and subscribe if you haven't already. We are actually going to start covering some of the more well-known Andean civilizations, so make sure you don't miss out. As always, your support means the world to me. Thank you so much. Bye-bye.